Update for the silver market. Insane volatility in the silver market. Silver down 11% again in Asian and European trading. We're going to talk about the charts. What are the targets where silver can go? And what is my outlook on silver? And what am I doing? How do I prepare for this volatility? Because it's here to stay. The super silver bulls, you guys are not going to like what you're going to hear, but you need to hear it. Let's go. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. Okay, here's the silver chart, spot price, and we're going to get right into it. I hope you watched my video on silver over the weekend, where I gave you the explanation that I believe what's happening in the silver market. By now, a second explanation has surfaced, which is basically exactly the explanation that I gave you, minus the China part. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss videos like the one that I sent out on Saturday. And I highly encourage you to go back and watch it if you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to give you the summary. Basically, in the explanation that I believe is true, we basically have a war right now between China trying to push up the silver price to destabilize the American banks that have huge short positions in silver and therefore destabilize the US financial system, and then at their true end goal, destabilize the US dollar. That's the one corner. In the other corner, we have the US financial system, who is clearly, and that is where both of the explanations agree 100%, are clearly in coordinated attacks that go into Asia as well, to the Asian banks, attacking the silver bulls and trying to push the silver price down through raise of margin requirements, all these great little tools that we know that they have. So, where do we stand now in silver? First things first. The bull market overall is not only intact, it looks great for silver. If you look back at the history of silver, which obviously is way older than the stock market and the equity market, it goes back to the Roman Egyptian ages. I remember when I was in Egypt last year, they showed us a coffin of a pharaoh. I hope that's the English word, but you know what I mean. The Egyptian king with the snake, you know, where the coffin was made out of silver, because there was a period in the old Egyptian times where silver was more valuable than gold. So if we look back at the history of silver valuation, silver exchanges, volatility like we have seen basically in the past half year always comes together with a revaluation of silver, a new valuation of silver for the economy, for the currency systems, and obviously for the price of silver as well. And this is happening right now as well. Silver is not only silver anymore. Silver is also energy, and silver is also a critical strategic metal that is necessary for the economy today. This has never been the case in history. And this is what the prices on the fundamental level are trying to adjust right now. And that's why silver will go much, much higher long term. Short term, we have to look at the reality, and that is we had a speculative bubble fueled, as I've told you for weeks now, by leveraged long positions of people, mostly hedge funds or the crypto bros, that were late to the party and then tried to make up with leverage on it. And then obviously we had the China component, the Asia component. We have shortages of the physical metal silver. because of owners of derivatives on silver that guarantee physical delivery freaking out about the fiat system and the dollar, and therefore demanding the silver, and that led to a crisis for some of the silver exchanges. That's all there. Now then, we had the silver crash on Friday, 30%, you see it right here. We clearly broke the uptrend, and this is where things get really interesting, and we get into the short-term analysis. We clearly broke the uptrend that has been in place since November. We retested it in the rebound and rejected it with a breakdown today. Now we're at the 50, the purple line. And if you know silver, you know that a 50-day is very, very important for silver. If I zoom out, you can see that basically since the start of the silver rally in May, the 50 has supported the silver rally all the way. So this is important for us as silver bulls, which I am, but again, I'm a realist first. And then I'm a bull on silver, on gold, on the precious metals, commodity super cycle. If we lose the 50, which they will try to do, because that means we're going to get a lot of margin calls, a lot of stop losses triggered, and a lot of panic selling. If we lose the 50, then we clearly completed a bear flag here, which means A wave down, B wave or bear flag, and then a C wave down. And then the target area has to be, shock, horror, heart attack, this zone down here, which is the 200-day moving average, gold, which is the uptrend that has been in place since April, and which is this resistance, now support zone, the blue zone, that has been in place since the fall. This would be my target zone. So we're talking about a downside down to $55 to $50 an ounce. Yes, I know that sounds crazy. It's more than 50% decline from the top. I get it. But this is what the charts are telling us. Now, here's the thing. I believe we go down to 55 to 50. That will be the buying opportunity of this decade in silver. Because the fundamentals are so strong, because what we're seeing right now is not the same that we're seeing, for example, with the AI stocks, with the software stocks, where there's a real fear in the market that the story is not playing out, that all the assumptions were too positive, that the growth won't be there. The fundamental factors for silver are as bullish today as they have ever been. All that we're doing is we're taking out this crazy exuberance that we had in the markets. And again, Wall Street is trying to help out the banks that are sitting on these gigantic short positions. Now, will we go down in a straight line? No. And this is also my max target for the downside. Let's run Fibonacci's and see where those take us. So we're going to start with the first Fibonacci in November here. This is basically when the craziness started, when the uptrend started, as you can see. So if we run the Fibonacci to the highs, we can see that we retraced basically the 618, a little bit below it, makes sense, right? Triggering all those stops and margin calls. Rebound, now we're back at the 618. Next zone would be right here, the 786. So I'm going to mark this in purple. And then, obviously below it, right here, interestingly enough, at this congruence of the other areas, support areas, uptrend, support zone, 200 coming together. Obviously, that's then the full one. So, what would happen if we take a fib from the April lows, the Liberation Day lows, to the highs. And this is where Fibonacci gets really interesting. Because look what we have here now. Long term. We broke down from the April lows. We broke down to the 50% retracement. Totally normal, right? Bounce back to the 382 retracement. We're back down here. We break the 50. Next target would be the 618. And look where this is running. Exactly where the shorter term fib ran as well that I showed you earlier. And then the 786 running right here. So let me take off the fibs now so it is clearer for you to see. So the two fibs that we have are basically exactly at the same area, which is not obviously a guarantee. Nothing is a guarantee in the market, but it's strong indicator that this is an important zone, and that would be at about 64.50. And I think if we break the 50, we're going down to 64.50, and that's where we get the next rebound, the next leg up. Now, is this the bottom? We will see. We have, as you can see here, this huge zone of all these different supports coming together, and that will draw silver in. So this is basically what it looks like right now. It looks bearish short-term to mid-term. I am loving this because I want to buy silver mining stocks. Lots of them. Big positions. And if silver goes down, that will freak out retail investors. They will sell their mining stocks. So that means, especially in the smaller mining stocks, we're going to get really, really interesting scenarios where we can get in on really good prices on promising, yes, high risk, but promising companies. I'm not touching silver, the physical metal, on the long side at this moment at all. Yes, maybe the 50 will hold. Maybe we'll go up from here. It will go into the moon. Possible. But right now, at this moment, technical analysis tells us we are in a bear flag. And once we break the 50, we're going to 64.50. And if this doesn't hold and we go below it, either directly or after another rebound and another bear flag, the target zone for silver for the end of this correction is $55 to $50 an ounce. And that will be the buying opportunity of the decade. That's when I'll be coming and backing up the German Mercedes truck and be like, all right, here's, take all my money and give me the silver mining stocks. But we're not there yet. What do we do now? If you have long positions, you want to be very careful. You're going to get hit by stops. It's very clear. You see it with the long tails in the intraday swings that they're clearly hunting for the stops, right? So if you work with stops, you either have to put them very low, which means you go higher risk, or you got to live with the concept of that you're going to get stopped out and have to get back in. Because, again, if Wall Street wants, and this is really important, if Wall Street wants to break this ultra bullish sentiment on silver, there are only two ways how they can do it. Break down the silver price to levels that people thought would never be possible, which is basically 55 to 50, even 64.50. Already gets you almost there. But 50 definitely does. Or you're going to go into super volatile sideways a time period where they're going to push down the silver price continuously to get people stopped out with losses, even if it's small losses. After you had 5 of those suckers in a row, you're just going to throw in the towel. So either one of these options. And obviously the second one is much longer, takes much longer. The basic volatile sideways trend where they let people get stopped out and stop people out. Either way, it leads to the same conclusion, which is we don't need to be long silver right now. We need to protect our capital, which hopefully you've done by deleveraging, by selling some of the silver miners, as I had pointed out before the silver crash last week. So we have the capital and we can stand on the sideline and just watch what's happening. That is what I see coming in the silver price. What I don't see coming is silver is going to shoot right up. That's the conclusion. Either silver breaks down or silver goes sideways and they try to trigger the stops nonstop. One of the two. Either way, silver is not going up. So there's no reason for us to rush into silver. We need to keep our cool. What am I doing right now? I don't have any silver positions in trading in the physical metal silver. I did play silver on Friday in the sell-off and got in pretty close to the lows then, and then got stopped out with like a tiny gain. So that was it. Would I buy silver a long position, a trading position at 64.50? Maybe. Depends what the market looks like. But overall, I'm sitting on the sideline. I'm looking at stocks like Pfizer, which I've recommended here for month and which is breaking out big time. If you didn't see the candle, let me throw this in as a bonus to you. And if you like to get bonuses and this type of content, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos. Here's the Pfizer chart. Look how good that looks compared to silver, any of the tech stocks and whatnot. Let me take the moving averages off, make this a little clearer. Look at this. Beautiful uptrend since last April. We have this resistance zone that's now becoming support from this bottoming formation. I can zoom out here real quick so you can see it better. We've broken the first downtrend. Pfizer looks great. I don't know what to tell you. So this is the type of stock that I'm interested in on the long side right now while I'm watching silver and I'm getting my watch list ready. And that is important. Have your watch list ready. When our time comes to buy the mining stocks, to get back in on silver, we want to be ready. That's it for today. I'm sorry. Well, I'm going to leave you with the Pfizer chart because that looks nice. And if you followed the Pfizer trade and said, yeah, this could be something. This is interesting. I'm getting on a Pfizer trade. You're smiling big. You're eating good, as the kids are saying these days. If you haven't subscribed, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Helps us out. Helps you out. So you get information like this Pfizer trade way earlier. We talked about it a month ago. I pointed out, hey, something is happening in Pfizer. And we talk tomorrow. Bye-bye.